Today's Wednesday, September 18, 2013, and you're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today at www.eesf.org. Hey, everybody, got a good show for you today, so stay tuned. Here it comes.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Thank you. I can almost visualize that audience, can't you? I'm telling you, I can just, and I don't know if I'm liking what I'm seeing. Anyway, it is great to be here this Wednesday morning where, yes, we are trying to do the show once again. I promise after this week, I'm not going to talk about technical difficulties or issues anymore, and just know that we are working towards getting a new machine in here that can process and handle all of the things we need to do on it, and hopefully that'll take care of everything we needed to take care of. But yeah, last week was a combination of user or human error on my part, which happens on occasion, along with issues with software. So we'll see. We'll cross our fingers. Hopefully everything will work out today, and kind of go from there. So I think last week was the first time I've ever posted the show notes without having any kind of audio or video file, and which is kind of tough because I don't usually like to do that, but there were some important articles to talk about, and I did link some of them up on the show this week so that you can all, along with some commentary on those, just so that you can kind of get the gist of what I was trying to get to last week. But yeah, I had some really good comments last week, and it just went down the drain. So anyway, next week is the NAC conference convention, and looking forward to that. It's always one of those deals where, you kind of rush like mad to get ready for it, and then once you get into it, it's just a blast, and then it's done, and then you got to wait for another year for it all to happen again. So looking forward to seeing many of you out there in Tampa, Florida. I do have the agenda linked up in the show notes, so really looking forward to seeing everybody out there, and always good to get out of the office and see people once, face to face, that we haven't seen in a little bit, and a great opportunity to do that. So, and the NAC always does an exceptional job at putting that show together, and looking forward to it. So it's always kind of a whirlwind of activity going on whenever we go down to the conferences and whatnot. So looking forward to seeing everybody. Hey, thanks to everybody who sent their well wishes: Kelly, Mike, Rhonda, Steve, Jim. Thank you everybody for for your comments regarding last week's show and it being a labor of love. And yes, it is a labor of love. So anybody who wants to fire me from this gig, go right ahead. Because I don't make enough money to. I don't make enough money doing it. I don't make any money doing it to warrant it being any more frustrating than it is. And actually, last week was just like that. It was like it happened. I'm like, okay, screw it. I'm not going to do it again or worry about it, because at the end of the day, it is all a labor of love and a fun hobby of mine. So thanks to everybody for sending your emails to me regarding that. So, okay, next week I am going to try to do a show. It is our prize pack giveaway, so we'll see if we can't put that together. And I did finally get a smartphone, for those of you that are in shock and awe right now. So anybody trying to reach me, I actually do get text messages now that I don't have to reply on this outdated phone that takes me basically 10 minutes to write, 3 sentences. So that's exciting, and we'll see if we can't get some, some different kind of recording software to work in with that. So that's great news. So we'll see how that goes. If I don't do the show for whatever reason, not the end of the world. We'll just bring it back the week prior. And we'll see, or after, not prior will be this week. And we'll get everything kind of caught up so that by the time we move into October, which is hard to believe, it's almost here, that we're all on the same page. So as always, send your emails to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com. I have about 95 that are unread at this time. I will get back to those of you out there that I can, hopefully this weekend as I get kind of caught up. It's just a busy time of the year. Fall's one of my favorite seasons. And on top of work, on top of the convention, 2 of my boys are playing football, so Sundays are pretty much gone, actually. And also during the week, got practices, all sorts of stuff. This makes it for a busy time, and thank goodness they only have about a month to go. But still busy, so hopefully everybody out there is busy as well and spending as much time with family as you possibly can. So let's get into the news content, and then that way we'll get you out of here hopefully sooner than later, and hopefully not have any issues by the end of the show. And if you're listening to the program right now, or you're tuning in to Blip, hopefully you, it means if you're listening to it or watching it, it means it's working, which is great. So anyway, let's get right into the news content.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, the first news article of this week's program. Apparently, some ASU students indicted in off-campus elevator beating, which is just awful. You think that bullying and this kind of behavior, which I consider like mob behavior or mob, I guess mob behavior is the best way of putting it, is unbelievable. It's still going on. So apparently, it's awful. And they got it on video, and the reality is that no matter where this happens, it's totally unacceptable. So they do have video footage of these guys, kids, boys, students, and the reality is that life is too short to be doing this kind of stuff, especially for college kids. So I'm glad that security cameras were in place to catch people like this. Next news article, or press release actually, Schindler wins contract. This coming from InvestorCentral.com. Schindler Elevator Corporation wins contract to provide and install efficient and sustainable mobili? What the heck kind of word is that? Anyway, this was a contracted multi-million-dollar contract that was awarded to install 32 elevators, 4 escalators at Hudson Yards South Tower. Actually, I think I covered this last week, maybe. It looks awfully familiar. But anyway, you can read more about that show link in the show links as it's linked up accordingly. Next news article, let's see here. Bear with me as I scroll down. Got the noisiest mouse in the world. Maybe I'll get a quieter mouse too while we're at it. Broken Patco escalators get federal scrutiny. Philly.com actually has an article and a pretty interesting photograph of an escalator that's been taken out of service, but apparently broken escalators and elevators continue to be an issue at Patco, or for Patco commuters, which is the Philadelphia Transit Agency, as the transit agency moves this week to hire a new contractor to fix the equipment at its stations. And apparently the Federal Transit Administration has launched an investigation into the failures, filing a complaint that Patco is not providing the required access to handicapped customers. This is huge. So when you really look at this kind of thing, and on a federal level, man, you get the federal government involved, and man, they're going to be up your rear so quick and so long, and it's not going to be good. I don't know quite what they can find or what they can change, but the reality is that elevators and escalators in transit system settings are almost, doomed to have issues. I mean, that's just the reality with the number of people that they move. So I wonder if anybody's done a study on that in terms of how many, if you were to link up the number of people that are moved and, on escalators or elevators compared to how long the systems are in service, you wonder if there's some kind of statistical data in the real world compared to like the transit world, which is also the real world, and whether or not there's issues specifically with equipment that might be outdated or aged, and perhaps maybe they can get more money to use to actually upgrade or modernize. So I'm sure some consultant will be involved with that and be paid handsomely for providing a report and such. So, but again, you're dealing with the federal government because accessibility has been, become an issue, and that's pretty big. It's a pretty big deal for sure. Okay, mycentraljersey.com has a nice article talking about the fact that the Greek Church in Perth Amboy is adding an outdoor elevator. So all I can say is make sure that elevator has equipment on it that is going to basically resist water, moisture, and be as reliable as possible. Weekend in Canuckville, Doug at GAL has a nice little blog post. He actually posted last week. So I'll let everybody read this, but it does sound like fun. Doug, I feel as if I'm with you when you write, so keep it up, and thanks for posting. So looking forward to seeing you next week in Tampa. So Doug's got a few articles there and encourage you to subscribe to his blog, at Doug at GAL. Kind of cool. It's kind of a neat little recap and easy to do. And if anybody out there is interested in blogging, it's very easy to do, and kind of a neat, unique way of, adding some marketing and some flavor to, what you do each and every day. So if you've got the time. The hard part is finding the time and being consistent with it. And that seems to be kind of the number one issue with bloggers in general or podcasters. And that's why, for me, it's so important to make sure that, we get a show every Wednesday morning, because that way you can look forward to it or know exactly it's consistent, So with every program that I've watched on TV or listened to, knowing that it's going to be available on Wednesday, whether I would watch it some other time or listen to it, was always a big part. Another blog post regarding Doug being up at the Standards Committee in Canada, so I'll let everybody read that on their own, and thanks to everybody who does volunteer their time to make the code better and basically, better and make elevators safer. So without all of you out there, some of you who are getting paid from your companies, and those that are not, that are doing it on your own dime, thank you. I'm going to say congratulations, but without you, it's obviously the code would not be what it is, and that's important. So, okay, next article, Salem Art Association pushing for an elevator, statesmanjournal.com reporting, and if I can unclick these things, I seem to be clicking a website that has 30-day subscriptions on it, which is just wonderful. But obviously, anytime you can make buildings more accessible to the general public, it's always important to do so. So, so hopefully that works out for them. Next news article, why aren't we building a space elevator? As much of a geek as I am, or not, this article asks, why aren't we doing it? Why we're not doing it? This is going to sum it up. One, it's expensive, and two, the reality is the nanotube technology for the tether is just not there yet. I don't know how long they've built a tether, or but about 4 years ago or 3 years ago, the longest nanotube tether that they have created was, I think, like 6 feet. So they got a long way to go, and I don't think it's a very easy process to do, and it's just a matter of time. Okay, some sad news. Perhaps maybe not sad news, but in London, apparently the Londonist.com reporting that London's underground last wooden escalator to be removed. So there might be other wooden escalators in London or the surrounding area, but this one is in the transit system, and man, look at the photo on this thing. If you're clicking on it, it's like there's the back tread is wooden. The back, the stair back is wooden. The treads are wooden. It's like, man, you wonder if these work any better. I don't know. I know there's probably many more, they're not as safe. I guarantee that, based on just how everything gets pulled in, but in terms of, everything meshing and whatnot. But yeah, hopefully they'll sell those, it'd be nice if they could, put the treads on the auction block, or, raise some money somehow. I'd buy one. I think the shipping would cost more to get it here, but anyway. Okay, elevator cell phone etiquette. Does such a thing exist? I don't know. I don't talk on my phone that much. This is coming from jconline.com. But this is an account of this John Norberg who wrote, the other day I was standing in an elevator, which is kind of an obvious thing to say. No one actually sits in an elevator, but hey, you know what? I guess you could. We all stand when we're in an elevator. We face forward, never backward, and we keep our eyes glued at the ceiling or we look straight ahead. We obey strict elevator etiquette. Elevator etiquette requires that we ignore the presence of all other people on board, even when we're packed in so tightly that no one can take a deep breath because there's no space left. On a crowded elevator, you end up with full body contact with strangers around you, but you can't make eye contact. Sure, you can make eye contact. You can make, small talk or whatever. I think part of the issue is that you've got a 3-foot rule, and basically you're impeding on people's space. So, funny article. But in terms of cell phone etiquette, yeah, that I don't get. It drives me crazy. Nothing like, waiting in line for something, food or whatever, having the person in front of you be on the cell phone, and then them, they're up next, and as they put their finger up to tell the order taker to wait while they finish their phone call, I just want to slap them. It's just not, yeah, that definitely is not the right way of doing things for sure. So anyway. Okay, next article. Some metro escalator replacement work to begin in November. Bethesda now reporting that the replacement of one of the 2 smaller escalators at the Bethesda metro station will likely start in November. And I don't know if this is an elevator. Yeah, this is the major escalator system. Man, it's a big, big thing there. So, which is good news. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty substantial project. Looks like they got 3 escalators, which I think is going to work out quite well, because they can take 1 out of service or 2 out of service and kind of go from there. Okay. Next article. Excuse me. Yeah, on top of the show last week going downhill, I got sicker than a dog. Like going that full day, and then into Thursday, I just wanted my sinuses were burning. I just went to bed, slept for 12 hours on Thursday. That's how bad it was. I just wanted to I don't know, stick an air hose up my head, or it was brutal. But by Friday, I was feeling better, and then by the weekend, I'm feeling better. It was all good. So wash your hands, everybody. That's my best advice to you. I don't know what it was, but it felt like the plague. Okay, best elevator ride in San Diego, kpbs.org. I don't know what this is, but apparently a few weeks ago I went to see how the Latora brothers were doing as they installed their latest public art piece. I found them, along with a few assistants, crammed into the Central Library's elevator shaft. I don't know if that elevator shaft is necessarily the right way of putting it, but anyway, let's see. I don't know if we're going to be able to play this without something happening. Yeah, we're going to play this. This is an art exhibit. I like the music.
There's nothing quite like the worlds created by the De La Torre brothers. Einar and Hamex are brothers and collaborators. They are glass artists, but use other materials as well. Their latest public art piece is one of the major artworks in the new Central Library.
It's a pretty cool
no
library.
Easy task installing it. The artwork is going in the main elevator shaft.
What?
The brothers took a break from installing to chat. Despite the challenges of working in such a tight spot, they're excited about the location.
I think for an artist, doing a public art for a library is a pretty fantastic opportunity, and especially for us because we like to make our work layered and baroque and rich, so the more the better. And a library is a place where more is definitely better. You want more information, more access. Now the site that we got in the elevator shaft is it's a pretty sweet site for an artist.
Visitors will see the work from inside the glass elevator. The brothers are known for their ornate glass sculptures and installations. For the library elevator, they're installing 2 columns of diorama boxes, each containing a different scene. The piece is called Corpus Callosum, after the part of the brain that makes connections between the left and right hemispheres. One column focuses on nature, the other technology.
Yeah, and the connection between the creative side and the sort of more scientific or analytical.
I'll let everybody watch it on their own. That's kind of neat. I don't think that means code, but Still kind of interesting to see how an elevator shaft can turn into an artist exhibit. Haven't seen that before, so kind of neat. Okay, insurance for those in the elevator business. If you are in the elevator business and you have insurance, it's a good chance that you probably use already Hartford or Hub or JM Associates, Burnham and Company, because I think they might be the only ones covering elevator insurance. I know our rates just kind of went up, and we went through this process. There's a lot of insurance companies out there that will not touch anything with elevators, but good article. Encourage you to take a read of it. It's a little different when you're talking product liability or elevators in general. I don't know if errors and emissions insurance is different or whatnot. If that's more general, but still interesting to see this press release blog post kind of put out there. So yeah. So anyway, escalator accident leads to man taken to hospital in the UK. kellynews.co.uk. Apparently a 98-year-old man was taken to the hospital after an escalator accident at a department store. So apparently, I don't quite understand. It says the chair had slipped part way up the escalator, but someone pressed the emergency stop button. The man banged his head after his carer stumbled and lost his grip on the wheelchair while on an escalator. Yeah, you shouldn't have an escalator on a wheelchair. I mean, a wheelchair on an escalator, or an escalator on a wheelchair. Either one of those is bad. So, the problem with media articles like this is why don't they shed some light on that? Instead of just reporting the news. Like, how about talk a little bit about the fact that you shouldn't have escalators, or you should not have wheelchairs on escalators, or you should not have escalators on wheelchairs. All right. So that's my advice on that. Editors clamber out a stuck elevator. Remember that the safest place for you to be is actually on, if you're stuck in an elevator, is inside. Oh God, this is photos of this. Desperate editors clamber out of stuck elevator at Fashion Week. News from the front lines. A freight elevator full of editors leaving the philosophy. Oh man. Stall between floors, and they're trying to get out. Okay, this is not safe at all. Shouldn't be on a freight elevator to begin with. And secondly, this is awful. Look at the photo on this. Man. There's nobody there that's like safety related, or elevator or firefighter. It's like just, you know what? I think we need huge signs, huge vinyl signs that say stay in elevator. If elevator stops working, call for help. Unbelievable. It's the most, it's scary to watch that. And the only good thing is they're climbing up out of the elevator and not, down, but still scary to say the least. WMATA praises escalator service before announcing service cuts, and had some people wondering whether or not this was actually service disruption, I should say, before whether or not this was some type of PR ploy. But apparently, they're talking about that the report that was released on September 11th, that or on Monday or last Monday, was that more metro escalators are in service and available for riders than any point in the past 5 years. However, later on or this week, they had an article talking about some closures. But again, just one of those things that they're gonna need. They have $151.1 million to replace or modernize 128 of the 588 escalators by 2020. So, you know what? You want to continue that. You don't want the equipment to fail. So, I mean, sometimes you just have to understand the deal behind it and not question it to some extent. So. And then the article itself is linked further down in the notes. Elevator Riders Riding Club Poker Run at the NAC convention. If you're going to be there, make sure you donate $25 if you're a poker player. This is a chance for you to win a 50-50 split the pot. I forgot how much it was last year, but it got up there for sure. So for complete rules and information, go to elevatorriders.com and check that out. It's going to be going on that both those days, I believe. No, I don't think both those days. Notes are in the notes and the details are in the on the flyer and stuff. So, great opportunity to support the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation while having a great time at the same time. So, pretty cool. Yeah, here we go. This will amount to improved escalator availability. And this is from progressiverailroading.com. Let everybody read that in terms of the improvements that have been made regarding escalator availability at WMATA. That's Washington Metro Transit System. Next article, this was linked in last week's show, but I just want to just confirm thank you to everybody who sit on the code and make sure that it is kept up to date and everything is hunky-dory, because in countries like China, where they may or may not have a code, the only thing that they can basically do is, from government officials, say that, hey, we need to improve elevator escalator safety, and at the end of the day, that doesn't always happen. So, but that's on a whole, that's on an entirely, broad level in terms of other safety issues that they may or may not have. So, just important to, to basically check that out as well. And let's see here. Okay, brilliant idea for escalators. The Atlantic, I don't know if this is necessarily brilliant or not, but somebody thinks it is. I'll share with you my brilliant idea in a little bit. The AtlanticCities.com reporting that, let me scroll down here. The potentially brilliant idea to keep escalator obstructors to the right. Is this a big issue? Come on. I mean, I've seen, escalator etiquette written about or covered in the past, but do people need to get somewhere that quickly? I mean, other than the airport where they're going to be yelling at other people to, stand on the right and walk on the left? I don't know what the rules are, what the, I just hold on and enjoy the ride. How about that? This is in Newcastle, England, but if we as people need this to indicate how we're supposed to ride an escalator, I don't know. I kind of worry a little bit about the we as a people on this great planet of ours. So I don't know. Let's see here. Oh yeah. We covered this actually. I linked this to last week's show. Channel 12 News had a report regarding a death, a stadium escalator death after a man fell. I am assuming over the side, but they did talk about there were other instances, and this seems to be a little bit more common than we in the news than in the past. I'm certain that in many cases or many accidents like this, alcohol is typically involved. And as people or fans after a game, think they're cool or think they're invincible after their team has won or lost, feel the need to try to slide down the handrail and in terms or in, fall over the side. My brilliant idea is to encapsulate them in plastic, like a plastic dome that probably would create more issues. But, and I know that they're not code compliant, but perhaps one of the majors can run with this idea, because I don't know how else, we're going to be able to contain people like that from doing it, other than education. But at the end of the day, the little signs on the escalators are not quite large enough to really pay attention to. And while everybody thinks that they should know how to ride an escalator, it doesn't always seem to be the case. Another injured in a separate accident. Again, I covered this on last week's program. So there's a bunch of chatter on last week's show or last week's news regarding stadium injuries relating to escalators, and either making sure that escalators are not being installed in stadiums, or I don't know, what's wrong with stairs? Stairs are okay to use, right? I know that people with those that are mobility challenged might need an elevator, but in those cases, let them use the elevator. I think we as a supersize us nation could perhaps look at using the stairs more often than not. I don't know. Next article here had to do with that elevator that dropped, and good news was nobody was injured or hurt. And this one coming from the dailypennsylvanian.com. Apparently the elevator at Sansom Place operated as designed, and again, great to see this actually happen, and nice to see that it was reported on. So apparently the elevator, which was carrying 14 students who were members of Penn Sirens Vocal Ensemble, fell at 10:25 from the lobby to the sub-basement. Let's see here. Log at the building gave the cause of the fall as overcapacity. However, the elevator's posted weight limit is given at 2,500 pounds. Engineering senior Penn Sirens president Catherine Hawk, who was on the elevator when it fell, pointed out that in other college houses such as King's Court, English College House, all 18 students in Penn Sirens had fit onto the elevator without a problem. It doesn't mean they're going to work all the time. Do the math on the weight. If you're an engineering student, do the math on the weight. Don't say that, we've done it before. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, never overload an elevator. It's not a good idea. So, but I'm glad nobody was hurt or injured in that, as that accident that occurred at Ohio State University. And just as a reminder, if you're stuck in an elevator, just wait there for help. In this article, the Herald-Dispatch in Huntington, West Virginia, has a nice little recap of when Megan Gregory was stuck in an elevator. Let's see here. The way this is written just kills me. Luckily, the Huntington native was with Cabell Middle and High School graduate Matt Tackle, who used a metal bar in his knee brace to pry open the doors. What the hell's wrong with you? Why would you do that? I mean, come on. Anyway. Yeah, they made several calls and were told help is on the way. But the person who said he was coming said at least once that it would be another 10 minutes or so. Oh my goodness. 10 minutes? No way. I gotta wait 10 minutes to get out of the elevator? Anyway. Yeah, just stay in the elevator. What would have happened if, you were able to get out, you fell down the shaft? Who gets sued then? This guy doesn't. Man, very frustrating. I don't know where the elevator was at, but the reality is that maybe it was stuck in the unlocking zone. I don't know, but come on. Again, the media needs to go out there and say, hey, he should have stayed in the elevator. Did you know that, people actually die when they try to get out of elevators? Did you know that? Nobody ever touches on that. It's very frustrating. Okay, this article also was linked in last week's show. Appeals Court upholds dismissal of lawsuit over escalator injury at Bridgewater Mall. Apparently, the appellate judges found that Aline Espinozo and her father Hector Espinozo failed to prove negligence on the parts of the mall and the elevator contractor, which was contracted to maintain the escalators. The appellate decision affirmed lower court's ruling. Anyway, so that's good news. I think trying to prove negligence is not that easy, especially when you have good records. Remember that. All right. So make sure your maintenance records are up to speed. They're current, and when you're doing them, think of them as lawsuit prevention, so you can, try to get out of incidents like this. And next article. This is the article I was talking about before. It was in last week's weight table. I like that. We can continue to cite athleticbusiness.com. The rise and falls of the stadium escalator. Again, this is another article talking about stadium escalators and kind of some of the issues. And when you look at photos like this, you don't realize how many people escalators move and how much weight. I mean, that's a lot of weight. It is. When you're looking at that, plus the machinery itself, I mean, it's got to do a lot. It really does. So let everybody read that on their own. A Manhattan parking garage worker plunges down an elevator shaft. This happened about 2 weeks ago, actually. Look at the image on this. The car plunged several floors and then landed upside down in the hoistway. Oh! That's some nice little music. Get me off this. Anyway, I'll let everybody read that in their own, on their own. I do not want to click here to talk to you. Anyway, yeah, not good. So something didn't quite happen the way it was supposed to in that accident. In the last news article, I did have linked up in last week's show. Does anybody know or recognize this curved spoke elevator wheel? There was a post over on Elevator Preservation blog asking if anybody knows where it might have originated from. And I do realize that if, it's from the period of the 1920s or 30s, there were quite a few foundries out there that were pouring cast iron products like this, so it may or may not be elevator, related, but it's pretty darn unique. The person who's looking to do something with it just wants some history on it. So if anybody knows or has any old literature on something they've seen like this, post it on this blog, because it's pretty cool. Something you don't see every day either. So. And that's pretty much going to do it for the show, everybody. Yeah, we'll see if we can't get this thing recorded and in the can, and I will cross my fingers to see if that will actually help, whatever. We'll see how it all goes. All right, everybody, as always, thank you so much for tuning into the show today. Have a safe week. Have a great weekend, and we will see many of you next week. And I'll see if I can't get some live blogging or something going on during the show, so at least we can kind of keep you in tune with the progression of the week. It'd be kind of neat to do that. I've never had a personal mobile device where I could be that linked up and tuned in to everything. We'll see if we can have some fun with that. So. All right, everybody, have a great rest of the week again, and share the articles with your friends, colleagues, lovers, enemies, all that good stuff. And we will talk to you hopefully next Wednesday. If not, I'll put a post up noting that I'm either too tired or just don't have the time, and we will go from there. So stop by, say hi, and we will talk to everybody as soon as we possibly can. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the...
That was not the right outro, was it? No, it was not. I'm going to play for you, actually, the PSA final public service announcement. This is important because it goes in line with being safe on an elevator. So listen to this, enjoy. If we can.
On behalf of your elevator crew, thank you for choosing this elevator for your building transportation needs. Before departing from this floor and to yours, we must go over some important safety tips. When entering or exiting the elevator, watch your step. Never try to stop closing elevator doors with any part of your body. During a building fire, never use the elevator. Never wrestle or horseplay around elevator hallways or elevator doors. If the elevator looks overloaded, it most likely is. Wait for the next one. If the elevator stops and the doors do not open, oxygen masks will not drop from the ceiling as there is plenty of air. Press door open button. Press alarm button. Press telephone button. Call for help. Never try to get out of an elevator that is stopped between floors. Wait for help to arrive. We realize you have a choice when it comes to your vertical transportation needs, and thank you for choosing the elevator today. Rise up, Safe Rider. This message brought to you by the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation and Elevator U. For more information, visit eesf.org or elevatoru.org.